Why is master data important? Well, master data forms the foundation of any system. So therefore, we can say that data is the foundation of success. So in SAP Business One, there are key master data elements that are very crucial for driving accuracy and efficiency across all areas of the business. So if this master data is properly configured, that would support your smooth transactions. It will reduce manual errors. It enables interconnected processes that enhances the operational flow. So master data can then also be seen as the glue that gets all these departments and processes to stick together. So let's take a look at a couple of key master data elements that we've mentioned. So first off, we look at our sales-related master data. This includes customer data, which includes essential details about customers, such as contact information, the payment terms, credit limits, and delivery addresses. Accurate customer data then ensures that the sales documents are processed correctly, helping maintain customer satisfaction. It reduces the risk of incorrect deliveries and also overdue payments. So there's less comebacks as well because of the master data that's correct. The next master data element is item master data. This defines your items' attributes like pricing, tax codes, units of measure, and this ensures that the correct item details and pricing appears on every sales document, basically streamlining your invoicing process and preventing pricing disputes. This also allows your sales team to accurately quote your customers and give them the correct information. So if we move over to our purchasing related master data, we've got supplier master data that contains information about the supplier, similar to the customer master data, including payment terms, currencies that we operate with, as well as contact details. So accurate supplier data enables efficient order processing, timely payments, and this in case gives you a stable supplier relationship. After that, we look at item procurement, which is also directly related to our item master data. Specifies lead times, preferred vendors, and minimum order quantities. And this data is critical for accurate purchasing planning and order fulfillment. And this helps you prevent shortages and excessive stock levels. And by reducing excessive stock levels, that also saves you money at the end of the day. Warehouse data manages your location. It manages the stock quantities and replenishment levels. You can also have bin locations associated with your warehouses. Accurate warehouse data then allows for efficient inventory management, and this helps you to reduce the holding cost and ensure stock availability for orders. And like we mentioned in the previous on the procurement side, by reducing your holding cost, you also save on money. Then, if we look at our production-related master data, which is the last one here, there is a bill of material. And a bill of material is a list of components and sub-assemblies needed for a finished product. This also ties back directly to your item master data, because without correct item master data, we can't create a bill of material in the system. So accurate bill of materials reduces production errors, and the way that it reduces production errors, it ensures that your production team has the correct materials that they require, the quantities that they need to manufacture the finished product, and that basically just gives them all the information required at the end of the day to complete the whole production process. Production routing basically defines the sequence of operations required to manufacture a product. These would be certain stages or steps that the production team have to go through before they can get to the end of a finished product. Resources are machinery or labor that gets managed on the resources side, and accurate data here helps you to prevent bottlenecks and optimize your production scheduling. So if we look at this, how can properly configured master data ensure accuracy and reduce errors? And let's go look at the different elements here. So proper configuration of all your master data ensures that all the related functions, sales, production, and purchasing, have consistent and accurate information, which is absolutely necessary to minimize the risk of errors that arise from data discrepancies. So, for example, if the customer payment terms are updated on the customer master data, all future sales documents will reflect these terms, preventing any delays or misunderstandings. Please just note that if you update where you've already had documents that you've created, the future documents will be updated with the new and relevant master data changes that have been made. Similarly, by maintaining correct supplier details, item lead times and preferred suppliers in purchasing data ensures that the procurement team on their side can place accurate orders. This then reduces costly errors where incorrect quantities are ordered or incorrect products are ordered at the end of the day. So effective master data management in SAP Business One basically provides you with a single unified data source. This allows the sales, purchasing, and production processes to run seamlessly. It lowers your operational costs and enables better decision making at the end of the day. So let's jump into SAP Business One and look at these key elements, and then go and show you how the Allow Procurement Document functionality works. I'm going to log into my SAP Business One. A demo database. There it goes. I'll just open a new one. Okay, there we go. So while we're waiting for this to open, we're going to start first and look at our sales data that is required. So we're starting off with customer master data. I'm going to open the customer master item, go to a customer master record. I can use my navigation arrows, or I can use the find option if I know the customer that I'm looking for. So I'm going to type in my customer code, and that is the customer that I'll be using. So in this case, it's Maxitech. You'll see with the account number, there is an account number, which is a unique identifier. This cannot be duplicated. And then you've got all the information, grouping information, the currency information of the business partner, which is the customer in this case. We have our general information. This is general contact information of the company. It can be this email, in this case, is sales@Maxitech. It could have been an info@Maxitech as well, with the website details. Looking at contact person detail, we've got a number of people here. We've got two. One is the CEO. The other one that we have is a sales manager. So these contact information would be used in further sales documents and transactions, which would be automatically pulled through into the documents when we create these documents. Address information, there's two. You've got a build to address. This is where the invoice needs to go to, and then you've got a deliver to address. That's where we need to go and deliver the products. In some cases, this can be the same address, or it can be multiple different addresses when it comes to the delivery addresses. Then we've got our payment terms that we can have a look at. So payment terms is, again, pre-configured. The payment term is linked to the master data, and by linking all of the master data together, you reduce manual effort at the end of the day. So when I use this customer master data record, and I use that in a sales process, then all the necessary information automatically pulls through, and I don't have to go and do any additional manual work. So predefined payment terms. If I open the payment term, you'll see that this payment term was specifically designed with a due date, with 30 days from when the document date was created. Then we also have a cash discount, where the cash discount then says if you pay before a certain period of time, you get a 2% discount. So 10 days before the due date, if you pay, then you'll basically get a 2% discount, and the system will automatically calculate that discount for you as well. So this is then the payment terms. You can have multiple different types of payment terms that you can link to customers based on the negotiation that you had with them for payment terms. Then the next one is price lists. So price lists are also linked to business partner master data. So whenever I do a transaction for this specific customer, it will pull the information from that price list. So managing and keeping the price lists up to date is also very important to reduce that manual intervention when you're actually quoting the customer on the day. Then we've got our credit limits and commitment limits. These can be set to a negotiated credit limit with this customer. And you can then also go and create approvals or limit transactions from going through if they've reached their credit limit. And that can then be an approved transaction. So as soon as they might be over the credit limit, that transaction goes for an approval. So this is what the master data then looks like, and certain master data is critical to have in place, and some of the others is just additional master data that you can use, but the main ones would be payment terms, contact details, address details, to avoid any misunderstandings there. So I'm just going to go and open the price list so that we can have a look at the price list while we're busy here. There are a number of price lists that you can create. And like I mentioned, you can go and create a price list per business partner, or you can have price lists per business partner groups. In this case, we've got regular sales prices, we've got small account sales prices, and we've got distributor sales prices. So you can group your customers by certain groupings and then assign a specific price list to that grouping. Price lists are normally based on another price list with a factor. So in this case, if we look at a regular sales price, it is linked to the base sales price with a factor of 1.5. So it will take the base price and multiply it with that factor to give you your sales price for that customer. We've also set the price mode to net. It's also important to know that you should only use one price mode at a time. Net price mode doesn't include any taxes, whereas the gross would include taxes. So just ensure that you make use of the correct price modes at all time. Okay, so that's on price lists. And while we're on price lists, you can also create price lists for your suppliers. So you have price lists that you can link to your suppliers as well, so that the pricing is updated on a regular basis for suppliers as well, because you can then create your purchasing document and that will then pull automatically through as well the correct pricing for that supplier. So on master data for items, that is it. Or for business partners, I'm just going to go into the item master so that we can look at what is important on the item master. Open my item master data from here. I'm going to choose two specific items. So my first item is a PC set. So it's PC set number 4. And you can see based on the price list that's here, it shows the base price is that amount. So whenever I change this to discounted price list, you can see that there's a different price that will pop up at the end of the day. So master data for items, we've got groupings as well for item masters. We've got unit of measures. In this example, the unit of measure is set to manual. So it uses a single unit of measure. And then the item is set as an inventory and a sales item and not as a purchasing item. And the reason for that is because this item is a production item. So if I go to my production data, you'll see that it is a BOM type production. I can then drill into the bill of material, and here I can see what is made up in this bill of material. And again, I've got my tree type as well associated here so that I can see is this just a normal component, or is it a sub-assembly that's included in this bill of material? In this instance, this bill of material has got normal components and one sub-assembly. So this sub-assembly is also a bill of material of its own. So if I click on that, it will open the bill of material as well here. And here I can see, okay, this bill of material only has components on for the bill of material. So I go out. So back to the item master data. So I'm going to speak about the purchasing side as well while I'm on the item master data before going to the supplier info, because it all integrates and it's all linked at the end of the day. So on my general side, this is where I've got my manufacturer. If there's any additional identifier, how am I managing this item? Am I looking at managing it via serial numbers of batches? And if I do manage it by serial numbers, what is my management method? In this case, we only manage on release. And so that means that the only time where I need to input a serial number would be to release the item out of the system. When I receive the item, I've got a tick box here to say automatically serial number creation on receipt, so that when we produce the item, after we produce the item, we can assign a serial number to the item, so that when we release the item, that there's a serial number available for it. If we look at the purchasing data tab, here we have the option to select a preferred vendor or a preferred supplier. In this case, we're not going to use a preferred supplier because this is a production item and not a procurement item. And then you've got the additional detail there as well to get manufacturing catalog numbers. I'll go back to the purchasing side when I've got an item that I'm going to show you as well now on the procurement side, excuse me. On the sales side of things, we've got our tax groups. So is this item tax liable? And what is the tax code that we need to use there? And like I mentioned, the unit of measures is simple. It's eaches. So there's no multiple unit of measure for this particular item. You can then go and assign the lengths and widths and heights and volumes for excuse me, for packaging and for distributing the item via courier. And on the sales side as well, you'll see that you've got that on the purchasing side as well. If we look at our inventory data, we can see that there's nothing in stock at the moment for this particular item. We can look at how we manage this. If we manage this on company level, we need to look at the minimum and maximum quantities on header level. But if we change this to say we don't want to manage this for all the warehouses, we just want to look at one warehouse specifically, then we change that to manage inventory by warehouse. And you can then go and say per warehouse, what are my minimum and maximum inventories and my required inventory levels to manage it by warehouse. Then you've got unit of measure stock keeping as well. If I'll again go back to this with the other item, and then we've got our planning details or planning data. Planning data is important to say, are we making this item or are we buying this item? And then we look at the minimum ordered quantities, our order multiples, our lead time, which all plays a role at the end of the day in the procurement and production process for the item master. So quickly jumping to the other item that I want to show you that we're also going to use. This is an example for printer paper. And here you can see there's a bit of a different setup. We've got now a unit of measure group that is saying paper and not manual. So if we go into this unit of measure group, we now have one item with multiple units of measure. So we can use those units of measure at different stages in either the sales, the procurement, or the inventory side of things. So we are looking firstly at one pack. So one pack equals one pack. Two small packs is equal to one pack. If we have one 6-pack, it is equal to 6 packs. And then a carton would contain 24 packs and a pallet would contain 48 packs. So when we're using these unit of measure, it is important to realize that there's going to be a multiplication factor. So you need to be very careful not to misunderstand the multiplication factor when it comes to the unit of measure. So if we go back to purchasing here, you'd see that I've got a preferred supplier associated with this item. If I open this, you can see that you can add additional suppliers, but you can have one default supplier. As soon as I go and add additional supplier, In this case, if I go to office supplies, I've got one there. Let's use one of these. It immediately goes and looks at the price list associated with this item for that supplier, and it brings back an item cost for me. So I've got that information then as well. So the preferred supplier would then be used in the procurement process, but you can always go and say, no, we want to use a different supplier, either based on a new price or a better price that they might have given you in the meantime. So sales data, here we now say that we are selling it in packs. So one pack, and the package type is a box, and then what would be the quantity per box would be 24. On the inventory data, this is how are we going to manage the stock. So we're managing the stock on pack level as well, and that's why you would see you've got 74,250 packs that are sitting in this consignment warehouse, because you are managing it via pack and not via pallet. So if it was a pallet, the quantity would have been less based on the conversion from the pallet to the packs. Planning data, here we say that this item is a buy item. We are looking at our minimum ordered quantity, a lead time in a number of days as well. And again, production data won't have anything because this item is not a production item. So that is on the item master data. So please, if you've got any questions so far, please put them in the Q&A and chat section for us. So I'm going to now just jump to our supplier master data. I'm going to open the supplier master data record. I'm just going to go to the last record that we've got available. And here you'll see that the look and the feel for the business partner master data for customers and suppliers are very similar. It's just a couple of changes here and there. And again, you've got your general information, you've got your contact person details, you've got your addresses, you've got your payment terms, and then all the necessary master data that's required to do what you need to do in the system from a financial perspective. So let's quickly go into the production master data. I'm going to open a bill of material for us under the production, which we've looked at as well. And we looked at the item master data. So if we now had route stages planned, in this demo environment, we unfortunately don't have any route stages planned, but you would include a route stage as an example. I would add the row over here. I would change that to a route stage. I would go and select my route stage. At this moment, I don't have, so I'm just going to create a new one. I'm going to wait, we do that. So that I would go and update. So that would be my first route stage. I'll say okay. So in any other spot here, I can go and say, I can go and add another route stage. For example, let's say I want to add one over here. I'm going to add another row. And I'm going to change that again to a route stage. And I'm going to create a new route stage here because it's going to be something separate. And I'm going to do that as software installation. So we've got a software installation route stage there. We can say okay, and we can update this. So based on the route stages that are now included, you can also issue any components that are required per route stage, so that you only issue the components up to that point, and when that route stage is completed, they can go over to the next stage. So that just sorts out the side of the production. So I'm just going to close that, and again, you can add resources as well. We haven't looked at resources, but you can add a resource. I can now go and add a resource, and I say I've got a testing machine that I want to add. I'm just going to open the master data for the resource. And again, with resources, we've got master data as well, where we can look at capacity data for the resource, any planning data. Is it linked to a fixed asset? What properties does it have? and then attachments and remarks. So in this case, this is a testing machine, but you can also have, like I mentioned, a labor resource as well that you can manage on a time and material basis. So here you can have then standard costing that would go into a standard cost work in progress account once you do the production around this. I'm just going to leave this resource out and update. Okay, so now we've looked at all our master data elements. We can go over to actually looking at our process of sales down to the production. So I'm going to open a new sales order that I'm going to create. The sales order is going to be for our favorite MaxiTech. Selecting MaxiTech, you'll see that once I select that, it pulls through the relevant information based on the details that sit on the customer master record. And now I'm going to put in my items. MaxiTech wants to buy the PC set number 4, and they want 10 of these sets. So automatically, my pricing is pulling through from my price list associated with my customer. I put in the quantity; it automatically works out the rest of the value of the item purchased. So, and along with this, they also are looking for 120 packs of paper. So, now we can see that this is a production item, and this is not a production item. So we're going to say, okay, delivery date. What is your required delivery date? And they say that the required delivery date is the 2nd of the 12th. So yes, we want to update this. So now we can go and see immediately if we've got stock available. I'm just going to add this and view the document. So you can see that based on the delivery date, and if I check the availability for this particular item, it's telling me that we don't have anything. So check availability, there's nothing. I can confirm that. So we know that we need to do something on that one. So if we go and add and view again, now we're looking at the paper, but we see that on the 2nd of the 12th, we have 54 units available, but that's not the full quantity that we have. So we know that we need to go and do our procurement. So what we can do now, after we've added the document, because the two items are separate items, one is a purchase item, the other one is production items, I'm going to do the allow procurement document function just for one at a time. So first I'm going to select my allowed procurement tick box for the first item. I'm going to update my sales document, and immediately my wizard pops up for my procurement confirmation wizard. So now I'll go through the steps and say next, and you'll see that the information that we now have in our master records are pulling through into this confirmation wizard. So here we can see that the target document is going to be a production order because this is a production item, and it's going to be for this particular PC set. Those are the quantities, and my units of measure is eaches. So I can go say next. Next. Everything still looks perfectly fine, and I can go say next. And immediately my production order number 134 has been created for that first step. So without me having to do anything, going into production, creating a BOM, the system has already done that for me. So if I refresh this document, there's my procurement document link to the production order. So basically, I don't know, I have to either pick up the phone or send an email to the production manager asking him for this item that it needs to produce. We can set up the system so that they get a notification and they know exactly, okay, we now need to go and produce something based on this production order. So now we're going to look at the second one here. But just first, let's go back into this item and look at our delivery schedule details. So now if we go and check availability again, Now we can see, okay, based on that delivery date, yes, we will have 10 because we've created the production, and we can confirm the quantity. And we can say, okay. Then in the same, I'm going to quickly allow procurement for my purchase item. And again, my wizard pops up. I can go through the steps and it will pull through the information. So here you'll see I can do a target document of a purchase order. But I can also go, if I don't want to send it to a purchase order, I can send it to a purchase quote or a purchase request, depending on your internal processes. For this example, I'm going to use a purchase order. And you'll see already the vendor or the supplier master data was pulled through based on the preferred supplier we had on the item master data. And again, you can go and change this at this point in time to reflect what you require. At the moment, it's telling us it wants to purchase 66, and our unit of measure should be packs. So that is fine. And we can go and submit this. So if we go next, it will go and create our procurement document, which is our purchase order for us automatically. Again, no need to contact the procurement department and give them the manual information or send an email with the potential of mistyping something in the record. So now we can go and look at this item as well. Let's go and look at the delivery schedule details. Now I can see, okay, check availability. I'm going to have the correct stock. I will be able to deliver, and I can go and confirm this. What that does for us is that if we look at our delivery schedule management, we can now see that for this item, we already have the necessary quantity. Let's say we're out with a couple of items. We could actually go and say, you know what, microchips haven't paid yet. They were supposed to pay. So let's take away the 4 from there, and we confirm it for the sales order for Maxitech because they are a customer that's always on time, and we'll be able to support them first. So then we can go and confirm those quantities and do the delivery schedule accordingly. Okay, so if I go into my relationship map now, I would see exactly all the documents that started from my sales order. So on my sales order, I've got my production order and I've got my purchase order. So if I go into my purchase order, I will have all the information that's been pulled through. We'll see, unfortunately, this has now gone to a pallet. We don't necessarily want to have the pallet, so we can go and just quickly update that. So I'll just update that to a pack update so that we don't have excessive data in the system. And then if we go to the production order as well, we can now go and see, do we have anything available? No, we don't have anything available yet. So we can look at our production order and change that from planned to released as soon as we are sure that we are ready to do that. If we look at our planned quantity, so to produce 10 of these, we are going to need 10 of each of these components. So immediately here we can see that we've got a bit of a problem because there we've got 10, but we don't have 10 available. So what we're going to do in this case is we're going to, for this one line item only, we are going to select allow procurement document. If we update, so yes, it will then go through all the steps again, look at the component that is required, and it will go and create the production order number for us. So that could have been done now on the production side where they were busy checking to see if they've got all the necessary stock. So on the production order as well, you can now see where you've got the link document. You can see that the customer who this order is for. So all that information integrates now with all the documents that have been created in the system. I can go relationship map on this production order as well, and it will show me exactly. This is where it started. It started on the sales order. the production order, and I've got a new production order for that sub-assembly that needs to happen. So I've got a full order trail throughout the system that's easy to manage and control, and it gives visibility to anyone that wants to come and look at it. Okay, so that is the quick and easy way to streamline processes with the allow procurement functionality. I mean, if we go back to our sales order and we look at what we've got available to promise now, and we look at our item, let's say we go for P10, which is our PC set. You based according to this, it will, if we go, it should have updated now. It will show you exactly what you've got available to promise. Let me just refresh here. That helps us. Go to the available to promise function. And let's just go back here. Available to promise. It should show you the probably got stuck now. Available to promise. There we go. So currently it's still showing that we don't have anything available, but as soon as we release our production order from plan to release, it will update the quantity over here. We look at our next one, our ream of paper. So based on this, we've got a cumulative quantity that is not correct. So we see that we're in red because there might be other orders out there as well that's consuming the quantity. And then based on this, we can see if we need to purchase more of the item. Okay, so that is the allow procurement function in the system to basically take you from a sales order way through the process of procurement as well as production. And then from the production order as well, you can also kick off the procurement process for anything that is required that you don't have in stock. So if we jump back, I'm just going to go back into presentation and then basically make smart moves with every document. So the allow procurement document functionality, like we saw, will enable your business to work smarter, not harder, by integrating the critical workflows. It reduces manual effort, fostering better decision-making across sales, purchasing, and production. So if we look at this, what are the key benefits of using the allow procurement document functionality? So firstly, we are looking at basically streamlining the workflow integration between all the different departments. So a sales order for a product with an insufficient stock quantity can directly trigger a purchase order, or a production order, ensuring fulfillment without manual follow-up. So the manual follow-up basically is, like I mentioned, sending out an email, picking up the phone and calling to say that this is now what we require. So that just basically enables a smooth transition between your sales, your purchasing, and your production. Then the next benefit we can say is basically improved procurement planning. A company can avoid holding excessive raw materials by creating production orders linked only to confirmed demand, which is the sales order. And by doing that, you're basically facilitating a just-in-time inventory management methodology, where you prevent overstocking or stock shortages by linking your procurement activities directly to the actual demand that's happening in the business. A third benefit would be enhanced operational efficiency. Why do we say that? The allow procurement document functionality automatically pulls all the necessary details into the document, like your item details, your quantities, the supplier information, into the purchase order, or the production information into the production order, basically saving time and reducing manual typing areas that sometimes pops up. So it reduces that human error element, and it also then avoids these redundant steps. So your procurement individual can get a message saying this does need to be procured. So they can go directly into the procurement document and start the process without now having firstly to go and capture the production order based on the information that was sent to them, basically reducing or delaying the process of actually getting that order out to your suppliers. Then the fourth one is better interdepartmental coordination. Basically, the sales team can now see, they also have insight into it based on that relationship map view that we had. So everyone's got insight into what's happening and where we are in the process at the end of the day. So basically just synchronizes the processes between the different teams and departments. Then number 5, enhance visibility and control. So this is more on the control side, where the line manager or the operations manager can actually monitor what's happening in the procurement and on the production side. So this basically just improves, oversight from a management perspective. And then the last one that we're going to look at is basically your cost optimization. So if you now only go and order the materials that you absolutely need from confirmed demand for sales and production, you avoid excessive inventory holding costs, because there's all sorts of costs that come along with holding inventory. Firstly, it's the capex expenditure to buy the stock and have it there. You've got insurance that you need to take out on the stock that's in the warehouse. So there's a bunch of costs and stuff that you can then avoid by basically using this type of functionality in the system. So which scenarios or use cases would this work very good with? Make to order production, so where you can automatically go and generate the production orders from the sales order for customized products. And like you saw, we just did that in our demo database as well. And then where you do direct procurement, you can go and create purchase orders directly from the raw material or goods where the demand is basically then created.